Hey guys, Zen here, and today I wanted to talk about the harsh reality of Rainbow Six Siege. Season after season, changes are laid out in front of the community and decisions are made that help shape the future of the game, and not everyone stands in agreement with them. There's a few arguments that have never seemed to go away and constantly creep up as time goes on, and so in this one, we're getting into all of it. First up, the bane of every Rainbow Six Siege player's existence, solo queuing. It's been said since the beginning that not only is Siege best played with a 5-man team with everybody on comms and working together, but it was also designed specifically for this style of play. The unfortunate reality of this situation is that it can be incredibly difficult trying to get together 5 players, all with different schedules, to hop on and grind ranked. Thankfully, this process is made easier. Like, with just a few clicks, you can get the team you want, all with similar skills and interests, by using Z-League. In the app, you'll find a feed that's tailored to your personal interests, with videos and memes to browse through while you wait in the ranked queue, and posts to enjoy from all your favorite games. In the LFG tab, you can easily find players to play with, and you'll even see what interests they have as well as their skill rating for the game, so you'll know if they're a good fit for your squad. Once you see what you like, you can shoot them over an invite and message them all directly in the app and get together for that grindy rank session. You can also check out the communities tab, and of course there's one dedicated to Siege where you'll find people posting Twitch streams, LFG posts, and it's just a great place to find people to enjoy the game with. Now guys, Z-League works with literally all of your favorite games, including Fortnite, Valorant, Apex Legends, and of course Rainbow Six Siege. And as you use the app, you'll be awarded Z coins, which can be traded in for Amazon gift cards or top up your PlayStation and Xbox wallets. Z coins are easily earned by opening daily loot boxes, playing in Z-League tournaments, or by playing this little addictive game, Galaxy Glide, right in the app. Guys, people are using Z-League every day to link up and play together, so click the link in the description and download Z-League 100% for free today. And you'll also get 500 Z coins just for signing up. You can also find me on Z-League with the username ZenFaro, and if you message me, maybe we'll get some games in. Thanks to Z-League for sponsoring, and let's get back to it. So then there's this notion of Siege being a realistic tactical shooter. Now, over the years of uploading these videos, there has never been a video that doesn't receive a comment mentioning things no longer being realistic in Rainbow Six Siege. And I think this idea stems from the history of the Rainbow Six franchise and also its roots deep in the world of Tom Clancy. Rainbow Six did once have a far more realistic tone, and there was also a sense of realism attached to it, but with Siege, a lot of that has taken a backseat in favor of more futuristic gadgets. But let's address the realism with a short list of the most obvious, unrealistic parts of Rainbow Six Siege. 1. Every defender literally pulls a reinforcement out of their back pocket and attaches it to a wall. 2. Every operator in the game can shatter a bulletproof glass window with their bare hands when a frag grenade has no effect. And 3. Smoke grenades deploy a perfect dome of smoke every time without fail, inside or outside, and it isn't affected by any outside element. I think as this game moves forward and updates are released, this narrative of Siege being a super realistic shooter have to be tempered. Now, Siege does have some incredibly realistic elements, like with sound and footsteps and the interaction between materials like metal and electricity. But I think the days have passed where Siege can be considered a super realistic game, and with future updates, I just wouldn't expect to see hyper-realism. There are games like Escape from Tarkov who offer up a much more realistic experience, and historically accurate games like Enlisted that'll literally throw you into a battle out of history. But as for Rainbow Six Siege, I don't think it can ever be recognized as a super realistic game again. But one thing that is very real to this community is actually what happens after an update or the release of a new operator. It used to be that when operators were released, they were either super powerful like Lion or Ella, or extremely underwhelming like with Thorn or Sense. With Ella, it took nearly a year for them to address changes to her, and the Lion rework also took quite a while before it was released. Now, once these changes were made and the devs realized that operators can no longer be as dominant, especially right after release, it created a culture of nerfing good operators, and the community has unfortunately come to expect these nerfs. It makes it incredibly difficult to be excited about an operator who just feels great right from the start, because you know that with popularity comes nerfs, and it almost never means buffing a lesser operator. And that's been a huge point of contention throughout this community, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard this one. Why do we keep nerfing strong operators instead of buffing the bad ones? Now, this isn't to say that operators like Year 3 Lion should be left alone to have literal wall hacks and instead buff up other operators to meet them there, but I think the true message behind that is, well, instead of nerfing an op that feels good or people are enjoying, bring up some of the more underwhelming ops to get that same feeling. It's an incredibly tense subject, especially for Rainbow Six Siege, because of how critical balance is. And this goes back to the community expecting nerfs, and this point is made even easier by the Year 8 Season 3 operator operator Ram. Now, Ram is by any metric an outstanding operator. The Boogie handles vertical play better than anything else. She packs one of the best assault rifles with the R4C. On that R4C, she gets a 1.5, and on top of all of this, she gets a secondary shotgun for even more breach potential. She is an absolute wrecking ball of an operator, and one of the most common comments made about her is that a nerf is undeniably on the way, and so the cycle continues. It's unfortunate that for all future updates, this will likely be the sentiment around strong operators, and as always, it'll take time to really get them balanced perfectly in the meta. But I think something should be said about the fact that really no matter how strong, the community comes to expect nerfs if something feels powerful. And this takes us to probably the most controversial rework in the history of Rainbow Six Siege with the Frost rework. And by now, you guys know the story. During a reveal panel, the developers finally took to the stage to reveal what they've been working on for Frost, and it just didn't line up with what the community was looking for. And so they were actually booed live on air.
Players will be able to get themselves up. The catch here.
Now, Frost is a very rare operator in Siege in that her gadget is fully mechanical, meaning it doesn't have any electrical components and must be dealt with manually. And for all these years, she just felt like a well-balanced core piece of the meta. Sure, some things like a 1.5 or her deployable shield were tweaked, but the gadget itself, at least for most players, was solid. And so the number one piece of feedback that was gaining traction was, who asked for this? People begged for a change to Lion when he had wall hacks, but Frost just didn't feel like a priority. So for me, I think most people were genuinely curious why her and why now? Now, the harsh reality here is that most of the times the devs make their decisions off of both player feedback and the data that backs it up. Frost was very strong and the data proved that. And if you were trapped in a welcome map, it left the down operator helpless without a teammate. And I think this was the main reason for the rework and speaks to an even bigger design change for Rainbow Six Siege. There has been this slow push for the game to be more solo player friendly and accessible if you aren't running with a stack. The hard breach charge, the Gone 6, impact EMP grenades, the smart ping system, it all helps you to be more self-reliant in Siege while also assisting a team. And so Frost leaving an operator out of the fight unless aided by a teammate is in direct objection to this. It shows Siege at its core has changed, and for some operators that means changing them as well. Now personally, I think ops like Sense, Clash, or Blackbeard could have used a closer look, but in its final state, the Frost rework actually keeps the essence of how she's always worked. You can get yourself out of the trap, but if you opt for help from a teammate, you won't get any debuffs, and the choice there is essential for the future of Rainbow Six Siege. The test server is next. The place to try out new content before it's made available to the live game has always been an important part of Rainbow Six Siege, and I'm here with a very simple request. Incentive. There is currently no reason for anyone to dive into the test server and take it serious because there is no incentive to play. Now, of course, the initial reason is to try the new content, and that's super enticing if it's a new season launch because, of course, people want to try the new op and get boots on the ground with a map or a reworked map. But the test server goes live for a host of other reasons as well, and if the content just isn't super exciting, then no one really uses it, and it becomes difficult getting games. Some people have recommended a progression system where, depending on how many games you've played in the test server, you progress forward and get a reward. Maybe something as simple as an alpha pack. Or work towards getting a charm that shows you helped out by testing a new season. I think it's great that Ubisoft even offers a test server because it allows the community to go hands-on and give feedback before it's live for the masses, and that's huge. But I think there just needs to be something to look forward to if you do decide to take part. If you didn't know, you'll actually get this super rare charm if you uncover a few bugs in Rainbow Six Siege, report them, and they get fixed. Given that not everyone even has access to the test server, I think something similar would be pretty cool and a way to get more people wanting to jump in and give it a go. I also think it's really important for console players to have their own test server because, as we know, Siege plays very differently between console and PC. I know the main issue is getting another title through Xbox and PlayStation certification, but something like a test playlist in the game might be a workaround just to get those players involved as well. Now, next up, this is the year 2 roadmap, and what a delight it is. Every single season has 2 new ops for a total of 8 all-new operators, new weapons, features, and cosmetics, and 4 all-new maps. This was the standard for Rainbow Six Siege for a while, and it was something that the community got accustomed to. And so now, there's this, the year 8 roadmap. This time, 4 new ops, only 1 new map, and potentially no new weapons. This is now the standard for Rainbow Six Siege, and this is probably the biggest point of contention for this game. But I think the harsh reality of this argument lives and dies with sustainability. Is it sustainable for the devs to crank out 8 new ops in the year? Does this match up well with the pro scene and making sure they have enough time to learn the new metas as they change and actually compete at a high level? Is one brand new map map every few months actually beneficial, especially when new operators also have to be balanced into them? And I think at a certain point, Ubisoft came to the conclusion that no, it was not sustainable to do this every single year for a game that now has plans to exceed a 10-year plan. And this takes us all the way back here to the home screen of Operation Health, a period where the devs took a full season off. So no new ops, no new maps or weapons, no quality of life stuff, and just focused entirely on building the frame that would hold the game up for the foreseeable future. And from every standpoint, it's a super risky decision. You don't want to confuse your player base who's been used to a certain schedule of releases, and from a business standpoint, you have nothing new to show for nearly 6 months. But it was necessary, and it's the reason we're able to play Siege today. But even if sustainability is a harsh reality of Siege, Ubisoft isn't out of the water quite yet, because as the release of new content slowed down, the delays of announced content became somewhat normalized. The reputation system was announced all the way back in year 5 and was only really player facing a few months ago. And the streamer mode in Siege took 7 years to implement, which is just a long time for what should be a standard privacy protection. New content and new features for Rainbow Six Siege are a back and forth seesaw of timing and consistency, and I think over time, Ubisoft has gotten much better at that dance. But I think it's important to note that we haven't had a year 3 Ella or Lion, and we have never had an Operation Health since, and I think that's a critical change. Siege is a very different game to when it first started. By now, you've probably heard, but it was once planned to be the campaign game Rainbow Six Patriots, and when that was scrapped, the dev team had to create a multiplayer game in a short amount of time, and this is what they came up with. It is so incredibly complex and delicate that the game director even said publicly that he feels bad for anyone else who even attempts to create a game like this because of the road ahead. And that's the final point here. Siege is a monopoly. It's no secret that there is no other game quite like it, and the barrier to entry here is massive. But something is happening in the background quietly and could be the thing that Siege needs. Amazon has hired nearly an entire team of ex-Siege devs, including the 2 fathers of Siege, to create a AAA world-class esports shooter. They've already marked it as a highly competitive multiplayer game and are gearing up for a major release. And when it does launch, it could be exactly what Rainbow Six Siege needs to take it to the next step. An old business saying is that competition breeds excellence. And the final harsh reality here is that Siege could only really benefit from another game trying to compete with it. People love Rainbow Six Siege. Even if you've fallen off and taken a break, there's just something incredibly special about it that I don't think will ever go away. And so I don't think or want another game to come and swallow it into irrelevancy. But healthy competition could make Siege a better game, and that's something I think everyone can get behind. And so, what do you guys think? Do you have any harsh realities of Siege yourself, and do you agree with mine? This video isn't a hit piece or a bash on the game, but a way to voice some of the more common grievances and even positive aspects that are out there. A like is always appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, I'm out.